It's another Thursday thriller in Europe. Rangers and Hearts seeking to overturn deficits in the Europa League. Hibs and Motherwell eyeing progress in the Conference League. Hello, I'm David Currie and this is the Scottish Football Podcast. All the news, views and analysis you need on Thursday the 13th of August. And Rangers are hoping home advantage can help them overturn a defeat in the first leg in Poland.
Not getting off to a winning start, I think everything gets scrutinised and rightly so, I understand that, but when you actually analyse the performance, it should have been a winning performance.
Can McInnes manage a first win as Rangers manager? And it seems mission impossible for Hearts after a painful night in Portugal.
Players are working really hard, trying to learn new things, being open for it, coachable, all those things. So the next thing is you need some results.
Mind you, there are signs of recovery for Vranken's side, and Motherwell and Hibs both have a chance of getting through in the Conference League.
Tawanda Maswanisi has just scored for Motherwell. He is absolutely lapping it up.
Yeah, what drama here at Easter Road. Warren O'Hara to just tap home to Bernine 2, Skendia 1.
Yes, folks, we've got the whole continent comprehensively covered right here.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
Joining me today, Andy Halliday, former Rangers, Hearts and Motherwell midfielder, Cammy Bell, man of many clubs, including Rangers. Let me tell you, boys, you two are a sight for sore eyes this morning. Certainly see you better than that solar eclipse last night. What a washout that was. But hopefully, we'll get a bit of a spectacle. Something to behold tonight for 4 Scottish clubs in Europe. Doesn't come round that often. More regular than a solar eclipse, right enough. I'm getting blank looks here. Did you not know about this eclipse last night? No?
It depends who you're talking to. I was actually mid-bedtime routine with my 14-month-old daughter, so I mean, I don't know how often it is the solar eclipse comes round, but I certainly missed it during the night, so but a lot of people are telling me it was pretty much a letdown, so it doesn't seem like I missed much.
You might miss the next one, Andy, as well, according to the timescales.
I'm guessing that.
Well, listen, you'll not be able to take your eyes off of the football tonight. We've got 4 teams in European action. Let's dive straight in. We'll start with Rangers. 2-1 down, Andy. And under normal circumstances, you might fancy them, but the way the form's been, pressure seems to be mounting on them. Yesterday, Derek McInnes saying we're playing with fire defensively.
Yeah, to be honest, DC, I've changed my mind over the course of the last 3-4 days. I have a think tonight will go. But I mean, one thing's for sure, I think Rangers have to score more than 1 goal to go through tonight, because I can't see them keeping a clean sheet. I think they've looked fragile defensively, and that's been with a full host of defenders to pick from. But I think in terms of tonight, I think Derek McInnes, I think his hands are almost forced with the lack of defenders that Rangers have. And one thing's for sure, regardless of who the initial back 4 or back 3 or whoever it is may play tonight, it's more as a collective, as a unit, Rangers have to be a whole host better out of possession. But Jagiellonia, without being disrespectful, Rangers have came up against much better opposition in Europe over the recent years, and they've managed to come through tough tests. And I'm now starting to sway back towards, I think Rangers will actually go through tonight. And I hope they do, and I hope the other 3 Scottish clubs as well have positive results tonight.
Yeah, Cammy, I mean, it seems like Derek McInnes can't buy a break just now, injury-wise. It's specifically Chermiti. How badly will he be missed in this European context tonight?
Yeah, listen, he will be missed. Everyone's got their opinions of Chermiti and how his Rangers careers went so far, but listen, there's a bid for huge amount of money came in before he gets that injury, and it's obviously going to be a long term now that he's out, so Derek McInnes is going to have to do without him at this moment in time, whether they'll look obviously to try and replace him, but he's only got the squad he has for tonight's game. As Andy said, I'm in the same opinion that I think Rangers will concede tonight, so they need to score a couple of goals at least. And yeah, the defensively watching them on Sunday, you know, there's moments where they are fragile. They have the ball for long periods, but on that transition, on the break, they do look fragile at the back. So tonight they need to turn up. The players all need to keep concentration levels at the maximum for the full 90 minutes, because there is a little bit of slackness about the Rangers defence, and they seem to switch off at times. And they can't afford to do that because they need a result tonight. They need to continue and progress in this tournament.
Andy, every time I speak to you, you're always lamenting the lack of pace in the side, but they've no managed to bring any of that in.
No, well, Yokota, to me, since he's came in, he doesn't look as if he's got blistering pace over the course of 15, 20 yards, but he certainly looks sharp and he can accelerate pretty quickly. So for me, as much as... No, I didn't think he was outstanding at the weekend. I think you can already see what he's going to bring. I think he looks as if he could be a positive signing so far. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, but the boy that's coming in for PSV, I'll have a bash. I think it's Drioek. I think a big factor of him coming into the side is apparently he's got an abundance of pace, real directness on that left-hand side. So I think Derek McInnes, again, was pretty spot on in his assessment and everything yesterday. Still feels that Rangers are short in defensive areas and wide areas. So I know, what are we on now? I think it's the 12th of August today.
13th.
So it's just under the 13th of August, so just under 3 weeks, or just over 3 weeks left of the transfer window. And Rangers have still got so much work to do, whether that becomes incomings or outgoings. So it'll be interesting to see how the shape of the squad ends the window, but they need to keep picking up results as much as they best can from now to then.
Well, let's cut to the chase, gents. Are they going through?
Yes, for me, they will go through. I think they'll get the result tonight, and they need it as well. But I think they'll deliver under pressure.
Yeah, from Sunday night to Tuesday night, I was no, but I've swayed back over towards yes, so I'm going yes for now.
All right, as Simon Cowell would say, it's 3 yeses.
That's good.
What about Hearts then, folks? Are you familiar with the footballing concept of the remontada, as they say in Spain, referring specifically to the Barca coming back for 4-0 down in the first leg of the Champions League 2017 to beat them 6-5 on aggregate. I mean, this for Hearts, it would be an even bigger remontada, the Gorgie version. That's, I mean, it's not happening, is it?
No, it definitely wouldn't. But I don't think there was much expectation from Hearts fans or anyone in Scotland that Hearts could have got through the game anyway. I think they just want to see a certain level of performance, a certain level of fight and desire, and do whatever they can to make it difficult for Benfica on the night at Tynecastle. And I did the game for yourselves last week, and some of the football that Hearts played, I thought the 90 minutes on the ball was outstanding at times. I thought they had some really good passes of play. They kept the ball off of Benfica really well. They got their goal with Renault. They hit the bar through Mendy. They got into Benfica's penalty area on quite a few occasions. But I mean, out of possession, I still think they look really, really open at times. And the fact of the matter is, I think Benfica can make you look like that, whether that's Hearts, Rangers or Celtic. But for me, under Wouter Franken, I think there's really, really positive signs. I know there's only been one win in the 4 or 5 games, whatever it's been so far. But you always look for passages of play. You always look for something within it that you can see really working and really progressing through the course of the season. And I've been really impressed with some of Hearts' play in possession. And then they backed that up with a resounding 4-0 victory against Dundee United. And then that other side of the game that we've not seen a Hearts so far was there as well. Clean sheet and restricted Dundee United to 0 shots on target. So as much as it's only been one win, I think Hearts will progress pretty good this year.
Aye, Cammy, seeds of optimism seem to have been sowed among the Hearts fans, specifically particularly on the back of that 4-0 win over Dundee United at the weekend.
Yeah, and they needed it. I agree with Andy. Listen, when you look at their fixtures in isolation that they've had so far, they've been really difficult fixtures. Sturm Graz, is it a team they expect to beat? Probably not. And then you look at the record away at Pittodrie against Aberdeen. It was one that was disappointing because they lose them 2 late goals. But I think they needed that 4-0 victory against Dundee United. It'll give them a bit of belief. It's a different game they face tonight against Benfica. Andy mentioned, listen, this is a game that nobody expects them to go and win or get a result. But it's all about desire, working hard, making it as difficult as they can for Benfica, not embarrassing themselves at home as well. I think that's key, that they show their fans that they've got dig and determination to try and make it as difficult as they can for a top European side. You know, I hear Benfica's manager Silva saying that he probably changed his team, but I think one of the players he mentioned, Duran, that might come in, sold for 64 million at one point in his career. So that's what they're facing tonight. They're facing a European team that is full of internationalists, superstars, and it's a different level for Hearts. So it's just about getting through it, not getting embarrassed, and putting on as good a show as they can for their home fans.
Just a bit prepping for the Conference League playoff round, really, isn't it? Or the next round?
Yeah, it is. And again, they've got to just learn from these experiences as well. And I'm pretty sure they will, because as Andy mentioned before, when you watch Hearts, especially, I've seen a lot of highlights of their games so far this season. There has been spells that they've been really good. They play good football, and there's good signs there from the new manager coming in, because we need to remember there's been a huge upheaval over the summer from players and obviously the management staff leaving Hearts. It's been a quick turnaround for them to get together. So they just need to keep building forward and being positive.
Right then, guys, in the Conference League, Hibs and Motherwell both back at it tonight, and both with what you would think is a good chance of progressing. We'll start with Motherwell, and a really good result away to HJK in the last round. They're at home for this one. They're unbeaten so far this season. I know it's a fledgling season, but you think they've got enough to get through?
I think they do. I still think Motherwell are really short in certain areas. I think at the top end of the pitch, obviously for the back end of last season, they lost Callum Slattery and Elijah Just and Elliot Watt in that midfield. And for me, I still think they've got to replace them at the top end. I think Willie Vogt that's came in, for me, I've been more impressed, shall I say, with other signings that Motherwell have made. And I still think they're one or two short in that area. And I think that reflects on some of the games. You know, I watched the full game against Falkirk, and you know, for the loads of control that Motherwell have, they don't really have enough at the top end of the pitch that you think is going to get them goals. Tawanda Masvinicius is just back into the side, and he's that one player that you think off the back of last year, the amount of goals he's got, that he can get them. But will he be a Motherwell player at the end of the transfer window? It remains to be seen. So I still think they're one or two signings short to be at close to their best. But I think again, like any club that's got a new manager, new players, I think they're a work in progress. The fact of the matter is, though, they're still picking up results on their way. And if last week's performance against HGK's get in and they go through it, I think Motherwell will go through. I thought in the first half they had loads of the control of the game, but not really threatening at the top end. But then the second half, I thought they were outstanding. Really got after HGK, you know, turned the ball over loads at the top end of the pitch, hit the bar, got their penalty, flashed a couple of efforts by the post, and HGK never really looked like it back into the game until a certain 37-year-old Timo Pukki came on and scored an absolute wonder goal with 4 Motherwell defenders surrounding him. So for me, I think Motherwell's got as good a chance as any of the 4 teams that we've spoken about so far are going through, and I think they'll do so just.
And they're riding high on optimism, Motherwell, Cammy, and kind of, I'm not saying punching above their weight, but outperforming what maybe Motherwell fans thought they'd be like in the early part of the season.
Yeah, but again, they've got to, I know there's been change there as well over the summer, but they've got to build on what they've done last year and take confidence from that as a whole club. They were flying high last season, everyone was giving them huge plaudits, and they fully deserved that. So they've kind of kept building with that. They've not just let that fall away with obviously the manager leaving and changes again, players leaving. They've kept that momentum going, which is great. And I think the results have showed that this season. Probably a little bit disappointed on Sunday against Falkirk not to get the win, but again, it's still a point in the board. They're picking up points. As Andy says, it's a new side, it's a new management staff that's came in, work in progress, but they're also picking up points and getting good results. I think last week against HJK, they played well, especially the second half when the manager slightly tweaked it, made them more aggressive, started winning the ball in the opposition's half and took the game to them. So I think they've got a great chance tonight, I really do. I think they'll have to play really well to progress, but they've got a right good chance, especially being at home. I think I'd love to see them progress, another Scottish team moving forward in Europe. It would be a big result for them.
Just veering off the European path a wee bit, Andy, they've picked up a new player, Joe Hodge, Republic of Ireland international, captain this summer there. What's your thoughts on his recruitment?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the top end of the pitch specifically with Motherwell, but they're pretty short in that midfield area as well. And I think Joe Hodges came in. He's got a brilliant background. He's obviously came through the Man City Youth Academy. I actually seen a picture last night. His last game for Man City under 18s involved Cole Palmer and Morgan Rogers and all these guys. So he's played with pretty good stock. And then his career's went on pretty well since he's actually broke into professional first team environment. He's got a cap for the Republic of Ireland, so he's got a great CV to come in and try and help out in the side in that midfield area. That being said, I think Oscar Priestman and Lucas Fadinga for me have been the two players that have started the season ever so well for Motherwell. So it'll be difficult for him to break into the team, and if he can't break into the team, I hope he can play that second striker role, because that's where I think Motherwell are really lacking.
Right, so you're confident, Perry, that Motherwell will go through? Is that 2 yeses?
Yes, Motherwell will go through for me.
Yes, for me as well, DC.
Right, okay, 2 yeses and a maybe. What about, let's talk about Hibs there in North Macedonia. My spy over there, Brian McLaughlin, yes, he says the heat is going to be, or might be, a problem there because it's absolutely baking. He's had to take his fleece off over there.
If he's a spy, he'll not blend in very well over there.
So this could be tricky. I mean, they just overcame them. Took a late goal at Easter Road to win the first tie. So on balance, and you look at how they performed away in the previous round in Kosovo, this could be a tricky one for them, Andy.
Yeah. Obviously, listen, Hearts aren't going to go through, that's for sure. But if I look at Rangers, Motherwell and Hibs, the 3 games that are the tire in the balance, I'm not sure. I'm leaning more towards it. I think Hibs might struggle tonight, and I don't know if that game over in Kosovo is just at the back of my mind. That I think when you're playing in this type of heat, the fact of the matter is you want to do as little running as you possibly can, so you want to have more of the ball as normal. And for me, I don't think Hibs control games enough, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope Hibs go through just like the other Scottish clubs tonight. But I thought the game last week, I thought Skandia were actually okay last week. They were much better than I thought they were. But all these sides, I played against Macedonian sides myself, and at Rangers when I played against Skopje, and then you go over there, like you say, it's 40-degree heat, it's a really dry pitch, and the game almost felt like a training game for us in the sense of how we played and how we move within the game. And we were lucky enough to get a 0-0 draw to progress. And I think that's what Hibs need tonight. I think they need a clean sheet to try and get through. So it'll be interesting to see if David Gray takes a similar approach to they took at Ibrox. It worked extremely well for them, or they try and get a goal and try and consolidate the win that way. But yeah, I'm worried slightly for Hibs. But listen, I hope I'm wrong.
A copy and paste approach tactically then from the weekend, Cammy? Is that what it should be?
Yeah, I think so. I think they will do that, especially as we've mentioned, the heat plays a huge factor in the way they need to play to try and get the result, because it's all just about the result to progress through to the next stage. So I think they've had the perfect test going to Ibrox and getting that early goal, and then sitting in for long periods, defending, being narrow, but making blocks, balls into the box, being first to them. They've done all of that on Sunday. So yeah, I think they've had a good trial run of it. I think they'll have maybe potentially a little bit of a spring going forward tonight, where if Martin Boyle comes back into the side, I know he's travelled over there, didn't play a part on Sunday, so he might be okay to be part of the team. But they've got to offer a threat at the top end of the pitch. They can't just defend for 90 minutes. They've got to try and get up the pitch at times. But listen, we've seen it on Sunday. They defended really well for long periods. And it's going to be a difficult tie. But listen, they've got the lead going over there, so they've got a little bit of a cushion. And it would be great to see another team, Scottish team, progress as well.
Right, Cammy's talking about Martin Boyle there, but Jamie McGrath's back in business as well. That'll be a wee boost for them.
Yeah, he was the person last season that got brilliant numbers for Hibs. Had a great output in terms of goals and assists. And I think even off the back of that result against Rangers at the weekend, that was while not having a lot of their key players playing. Martin Boyle and O'Neill and Jamie McGrath and Paslak and guys like that. So one thing's for sure, the guys that will probably come in tonight, your own Boyles, Martin Boyles and your own Eldens, is they've got blistering pace at the top end of the pitch. So it might actually suit Hibs to be a bit similar to the way at Ibrox, where they try and sit in, soak a bit of pressure, and then hit these guys on the transitions to make it difficult for the opposition. So, listen, I hope they go through, but it's no easy playing a 40-degree heat, DC, it's got to be said.
So what are we going for then, chaps, overall? Are we going for 2, maybe 3 of the 4 going through?
I'm going to edge towards Hibs not going through.
Oh, we don't want to end on a negative note, Cammy.
No, I'm going to go positive. I think they'll do enough just to get over the line tonight.
Great stuff, gents. I'm afraid that is all we have time for. Many thanks to Andy and Cammy, and thank you for listening. And remember, you'll catch comprehensive coverage of all the games tonight in Sports Sound. And remember, we're here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast bright and early every weekday. So to make sure you don't miss out, you know what's coming next, subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone. Go about your business, gentlemen. Have a fantastic Thursday, and let's hope we're talking about, let's say, 3 teams through to the next round in Europe. Take care.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sport app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insight and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result. Download the BBC Sport app for everything you need to know about your team this season.